Welcome back to the Open Wide the Doors podcast here at the St. John Paul II Parish Family. I'm your host for today, Erin Wright, and today we're going to be talking about faith and special needs. We're going to be talking about belonging, dignity, and how our Catholic faith calls us to make room for every person at the table of the Lord. The Church teaches that every person is created in the image and likeness of God. Today, we'll talk about what that looks like in real life, especially for families navigating disabilities or special needs. I'm joined today by Megan Apple, a longtime parishioner here at the St. John Paul II Parish Family, and a Bishop Leibold parent who serves our area as an intervention specialist and who also brings the lived experience of parenting children with special needs. Thank you for being with us, Megan.
Thank you.
So before we get started, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name is Megan Apple, and I live here in the Centerville area. I've been a longtime parishioner. I went to Bishop Leibold, and then my children go there as well. And then I also own a company, Lemon Tree of Dayton, and we actually help with speech and language. And then we also advocate for families, help them with IEPs, etc. And I've just had a passion being in Catholic education now for almost 26 years, especially with children with special needs. And then beyond that, when they grow into adults.
So that's awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much for all of your service and for committing your service to Catholic schools and Catholic education. That's really nice. And I feel like Catholic schools don't often have very many resources for people with disabilities.
We're trying. We're
Yeah.
really trying and growing.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's awesome. I love that. I love that you're doing this.
And our new superintendent of the Archdiocese is very, very on board with everything too.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
That's awesome. Yeah. I love that we're growing this program and more people are getting helped and getting the help that they need. So what's one small moment with your children or students that has brought you unexpected joy?
Well, I love the light bulb reaction when kids understand something and they have that feeling of accomplishment for themselves. I also love when kids do something that somebody doesn't think they could. They push past the boundaries and they show those people, which I really love. So that booyah moment kind of for my kiddos is really special. And it can be really small things throughout the day. I walk with the parents that I work with, and now being a parent myself, that those small moments are very important.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't have much experience working with people or children with disabilities, but I'm sure there's a lot of obstacles that people come across and you get told that you can't do something or it's going to be an extremely hard challenge to get through or get over. And then I'm sure once you surpass that and you can do it, I'm sure it's a huge moment. And no matter how big or small it is.
No. And then I started the autism program at one of the local Catholic schools for the Archdiocese. We were the first here in the Dayton Deanery and the only right now that has an autism program. And it's, I like the challenging cases. And really, it takes a while and stuff, but I take those kids in and it's wonderful how they blossom and how other kids, neurodivergent, and then our other neurotypical kids really learn from our kiddos. Yeah.
That's so amazing. And yeah, I'm sure that's wonderful. And it's just so inspiring to see those moments,
It,
those booyah moments that
it
you
is.
mentioned. Yeah, that's so beautiful. How has walking alongside children with special needs, both professionally and personally, shaped your understanding of faith?
My understanding of faith is that it is a realization of what is hoped for and evidence of things not seen. Hope is what we desire to happen. Faith is what we trust will happen. Hope is mentioned as a virtue because we should always desire for justice, peace, everlasting life, etc. We can't have faith until we first have hope. And so walking alongside these families with special needs, both professionally and personally, has shaped my faith by seeing trust these families put, and along with myself, have put in God and the hope for our children to truly belong in the community, within our church. And these families endure so much, but they keep going, which is just a testament to our faith and hope that that things down the line will change. That gives us hope to foster my faith. And my faith is really strong. We've had a lot of family challenges medically with myself and then my children. They've been dealing with that with me since they were very young. So I just think, yeah, having faith gets you through the hard moments and stuff.
Yeah.
And also helps me help other parents as well and families too.
Yeah, absolutely. Having faith, and you mentioned trust, and you're going through these challenges, these difficult moments, and there's a lot of uncertainty, a lot of like, how is this going to play out?
And you're not sure if
That's
you're gonna get through it. Like, there is light on the other side, and I pray a lot, and I think that that helps me, gives me peace to be able to bring peace to other to my
absolutely.
own children, to other
Yeah.
people as well. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Prayer is a powerful thing. I mean, especially in these moments when these moments of uncertainty, these challenges, these trials that whoever may be facing, and you're helping all of these kids, all of these families, and just being well rooted in your faith. I'm sure it's so beneficial for you to be able to give some sort of sturdiness to them
Mhm.
and some guidance, and like it's everything is going to be okay.
Yeah,
We'll get through this. We're going to walk through this
right.
together.
I always, say to our families, "It's just a bump," and we'll get through it, and we'll get through it together. Yeah.
That's so awesome. That's so beautiful. I love that your position that you're doing this for all of these families and these kids and helping them through their challenges.
Yeah, it means a lot.
So our parish family is actually going to be offering a sensory friendly mass this coming Sunday, March 22nd, at the 8 a.m. mass at St. Henry. This mass is designed to support individuals with sensory sensitivities and their families. Why is this kind of mass such a meaningful experience for the church's care?
Well, first of all, I'm really excited that this parish will be having a sensory friendly mass. It's long overdue. And I've been a part of the belonging task force, and then it's kind of shifted into the Office of Persons with Disabilities. But we organized different sensory masses, gosh, for maybe the last 8 years or so in different parishes throughout our whole archdiocese. And I just think this kind of mass is so meaningful because it's an expression of the church's care, because it shows that neurodivergent people belong in the true sense, and not just having them in the cry room or
Hmm.
back behind areas, but fully in and a part of the mass. And it allows them to have that freedom. I know talking with different families or families that have come to me, they maybe have never attended mass because they're afraid with their child. They don't want to disrupt, or some families have not felt welcomed or comfortable. I do feel here at St. John Paul II Parish that we are very friendly, and we're a family. Like, I just feel like we're a big family. I've always
Hmm.
felt like that, even since I was a kid. So I just think this is really great that we're doing that. The beauty of the mass is that we can allow people that have never attended to be, really a part of it. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. It is a great opportunity to just make those families feel more comfortable in their environment. It can be kind of easy to just be like, if we don't have a sensory friendly mass and you want to go to mass, it's like, all right, you have to adapt to the standards of mass and whatever is going on. And I can understand that you may not want to be in that environment if that's triggering in any way. And maybe you're worried about it disrupting or whatever. But the same thing with kids, with toddlers and all of that. You don't want to just go back to the cry room. You're invited to be there in the worship space, in the
Correct.
sanctuary, and at the foot of the altar,
And there's
right
small
there.
changes in sensory friendly masses that aren't huge. Carolyn Krug and myself, we came up with like a list of things that was approved by Archbishop Schnurr when we first started the friendly masses, like lower lights, maybe softer music, maybe using the children's lectionary, maybe not using like incense.
Mhm,
Those are kind of like small little changes that I think if we explain to our parishioners what and why we're doing it,
mhm.
I think they'll have a better understanding, and also maybe talking about the sensory friendly masses and why we're doing them, and maybe even educating our parishioners on different disabilities as well too.
Yeah, absolutely. Bringing awareness to other disabilities and educating parishioners and whoever in the area is so beneficial.
I think it also helps too for older parishioners that have adult children now that have special needs as well. They have a sense that the child will be taken care of.
Yeah, yeah, that's amazing. So if you're able to attend the mass at the 8 a.m. mass at St. Henry, all are welcome. So we kind of talked about that, how adapting the environment can be helpful, but how does it really help these families participate more fully in the worship?
Sure. Adapting the environment helps families participate more fully in the worship because it creates a welcoming atmosphere with like comfortable seating. So we may have kiddos that need, kiddos or adults that may need certain cushions or certain like seating like rockers or something like that, and then adequate space. So we have some parishioners that are neurodivergent. Maybe even an example would be with autism. I have some times where they need to move about the
Hmm.
space, so that allows them to move freely, which is really great for them. Also, it ensures accessibility for individuals with mobility challenges as well, so
Hmm.
those in wheelchairs. And then adaptations include sensory friendly options for children and those with sensory sensitivity, so maybe providing headphones. And overall, it fosters community spirit by encouraging families' involvement in our worship activities too. So making those more friendly for
Yeah.
our neurodivergent population.
Yeah, we're accommodating anybody and everybody,
Hmm.
just about. I mean, any sensory, any sensitivity that may be a barrier for people attending mass and
Hmm.
um, fully being able to participate in the mass, helping them do that by offering headphones, shins, whatever, basically any
Fidgets, maybe even.
something to help them be comfortable in the space so that they can participate in worshiping the Lord.
And also teaching our other parishioners that those things that they're using are not toys in any way, or to disrupt the mass. They're looked at as tools
Hmm.
for these people to help them with their sensitivities.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're fidget like those fidget spinners, fidget toys, or whatever like that. You often can be used for toys, but they are really designed to be tools, as you mentioned,
Yeah.
to
Sometimes I
help.
use my sons have used before, like wishing stones, but we've also taken the small little wooden crosses that you can get.
Oh, yeah.
And my one son, he would put it in his pocket. Like sometimes when we've had nervous times at school and stuff like that, he would
Mhm.
do that. I go, just keep it in your pocket. God's right there with you. So little things like that, to
Yeah,
help them. Yeah.
that's so cool. Like, yeah, the little wooden cross. It is really nice to have something tangible to
Yes.
hold in your hand and kind of take you out of your mind,
And
nervous
my boys
moments.
also used early on when they were a little bit younger, their prayer books that they got from First
Mm,
Communion, but that kept their hands busy too. And my
yeah,
son then he's learned the whole parts of the mass. Now he participates. He actually has autism level 2, and he became a server.
that's awesome.
So he served a couple times, and it's been a big deal for our family. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
so
that's so amazing. I love that.
yeah. I do have to say here at our parish, we are fostering that and
Mhm.
growing and expanding and positions, you know, in the mass and stuff like that for our neurodivergent population.
Yeah, and it's so amazing. We're taking steps in the right direction. Maybe a slow process, but we're taking steps.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. What can parishioners without direct experience of special needs do to help create a more welcoming and understanding parish culture?
Well, parishioners, they can educate themselves and possibly with the church's assistance. Um, they congregation can promote a culture of kindness and patience, which I think we already have here. I in the summertime gave a talk to some CCD, teachers or directors, and the big thing was they have these volunteers that come in and they want to help, but they don't know how to. And so educating, those people and providing support for them is very important. And involve people with special needs in parish activities and decision making. They want to have a place at the table, and it's really important for them.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as an intervention specialist, how do you approach faith formation for children with different abilities?
So, faith formation should be approached by utilizing kind of best practices. And there are best practices out there. Effective faith formation with children respects the ways children learn today by offering learning activities that are experimental, image-rich, multisensory, interactive, engaging, and varied in learning styles. And that's a lot, especially like if we're having, a volunteer do that. But it should provide opportunities for children to experience and imagine how their personal story is intertwined with the Bible and our Christian tradition. Also, it provides an environment that allows them to encourage the living God directly and embraces the life cycle milestones as opportunities for nurturing the faith of our children and their families in the congregation and at home. Also, when we, with faith formation, that we make sure that we involve the family. I think that's first and foremost, that the parents want to be involved and they will be there to support however they need to. We've had parents, even my mom has gone in for other children during CCD, but providing that support for their children to participate in, classes like that, or to be a part in a Catholic school to go to those classes as well is really important. And I think opportunities for our children to practice their faith and throughout hands-on participation in life ministries, activities, and stuff within the congregation. I've had challenges throughout the years. I remember one kiddo that I had, he had autism. He was nonverbal and it was first grade and his eyes were beautiful and could tell you so much. He was such a smart kiddo, but we had to figure out a way because in first grade, they have to learn the Hail Mary. And so, you know, he would pick up some of the words, but what we did is we were able to have him be able to decipher between, maybe Joseph and Mary. So
Mhm.
he would tap on, who we were praying for, or for the Our Father, he would tap on that. Or we would have puzzle pieces that he put together that would be enough time during the prayer kind of thing. So that he was participating in what we were doing. So finding those different ways for our kids to participate, and they want to participate. And this is, I can't explain how important this is for our parents too, of neurodivergent kids and adults. Yeah.
That is so cool. Having a little puzzle or something like that, helping them to pray in a way that they are able to pray.
Right. And it's just a little bit different and
Yeah,
stuff. And you have to think out of the box.
absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
There's no one size fits all for
No.
this. There's not a specific way to pray.
Right.
There's different ways, and it's more spiritual. It's more inward. It's not necessarily you have to be able to say these words to be able to pray and
Right.
truly worship the Lord. There's other resources out there like the puzzle. I mean, you're
Mhm.
reflecting on that still, bringing that into the prayer, and
Mhm.
that's so beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've walked with families too with preparing their kids for reconciliation and we've had to do it a little bit different, but I've always had priests that are so patient and they've been so wonderful. I haven't come across a priest that hasn't wanted to help our
Mhm.
kiddos and foster their faith, which is
Mhm.
so awesome. We do have there is within the archdiocese and stuff, but there is curriculum out there that is adapted for our children with special needs. There's kits that can be used. So
Yeah, absolutely. I love that there's a curriculum out there and there's resources out there to
there is.
help our children come to know the Lord and be able to make these sacraments and grow with everyone else. And it's not just we're not leaving them behind. We're bringing them with us, and we want them with us on this journey, and they want to be with us on this journey as
Well,
well.
within our archdiocese, we just had, I want to say, was it last year? Maybe we had two of our kiddos, young adults, that were able to make their first communion. Like their parents, they just never knew they could, which was unbelievable. So there was somebody with her name's Chris, and she was very instrumental in saying, yes, we can do this and set it up and stuff like that. So it's just, people want to help
Yeah.
within our parish and within our archdiocese and stuff that can help make things happen.
Yeah, absolutely. There's many people in our archdiocese, as you mentioned, who are spearheading this and are leading this and are helping to make this possible
Mhm.
for those with special needs.
Mhm.
And it's so beautiful. It's so amazing that we're doing this.
Yeah.
So what would you say to a family navigating special needs who may feel discouraged or unseen in their faith journey? We've talked about a lot of the challenges.
I want to say, try and try again. You can have maybe go to mass and have maybe an experience that was less desirable, maybe because of your
Mhm,
child,
mhm.
but go again. It was funny. There was a mass that I went to. It was a sensory friendly mass, but the little kiddo with special needs was playing in the water font, and he was kind of making a little bit, whatever. And the mom was like, "Oh my gosh," and she was so worried about it. And our person from Office of Persons with Disabilities, Lisa Averon, she came over and she goes, "It's okay. It's okay. Let's teach him how to use the water in the baptismal font." And so she showed him how we just dip a finger in and we make the sign of the cross and stuff. And yes, he's not going to do that every time, but if we stop and we teach him,
Mhm,
and it's okay, like he doesn't understand,
mhm.
so we have to teach him. So those kind of things is, try and try again. Even with my own children, we have difficulties sometimes going to church and getting ready and getting out there, and it's okay once we get there, kind of thing.
Yeah,
Also, change can only happen when these families, like myself, when we come to church, and we also show others our faith and kind of teach them too.
yeah,
So try and try again. That's what I say.
absolutely. How can you learn if you never try?
It's challenging, um, and that's what your faith is there for, so
Absolutely.
mhm,
Yeah. Bringing the prayer, like your prayer, your faith as a parent, to just asking the Lord for guidance and helping you through this challenge and help your child come to know the Lord.
mhm.
It's so valuable. And, everybody's learning style is different. It's not just, people with special needs. Everybody's learning
Well, even
stuff
like,
is different.
some of the things, we've been talking about today can also help our elderly population as well, so I think it's very beneficial. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's like we said, there's no one size fits all, and there's always opportunities to learn and to teach our children and how to go to mass and participate more fully.
Mhm.
And yeah, you're right. It's not going to happen like that, just like on the first try. It's not going to be perfect the first time you go,
Yeah.
but the more you try, the more you're giving them an opportunity to learn and grow.
Gains acceptance too from others as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, exposing our parish community to that a
Mhm.
little bit more. Yeah. Just to get them more comfortable and more used to being
And our
around.
families with neurodivergent kids and adults, it's okay to ask questions, it's okay, and that's the way how we all learn. So that's also something that's very important.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Megan, for coming here and talking to us about faith and special needs and our sensory friendly masses and all of the opportunities that we have in our parish family and in our archdiocese. So yeah, thank you for all of the work that you do.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me. This was really wonderful.
So our Catholic faith reminds us that no one is an afterthought in God's plan. Every person belongs, every family matters, and every heart has a place in worship in church at the foot of the altar. As we prepare for our upcoming Sensory Mass this Sunday at St. Henry at the 8 a.m. Mass, may we open our hearts wider to patience, understanding, and love so that all may encounter Christ and know his love. Until next time, God bless.